If you pride yourself on always being productive, you might be ruining your own life without even realizing it. You've probably built a career, a life, a reputation on being the person who gets things done. But what if this habit, the very habit that helped you succeed, is now keeping you stuck? I'm Karen Andrews. I've been a clinical psychologist since 2009, and I've helped many high performers who feel trapped by their own drive and productivity. Today, I want to share 3 ways that constant productivity might be costing you and how to reclaim your time, your identity, and your relationships. Let's get into it. Cost number 1. You've lost touch with your joy. When you're always producing, achieving, delivering, there's no room for pleasure. You stop doing things just because they make you feel good, just because you're doing them for fun. Even rest becomes guilt-ridden because, a nap only counts if it helps you to work more, right? Think about my client Yasmin, not her real name. She's married with 3 children, and she carries a big part of the financial load and mental load of her family, partly because her husband actually works in another country. When I met her, she was working 12-hour days, constantly checking emails and always on to stay on top of things. But she was never present. She wasn't present for her children, and she wasn't present for herself. She was so busy proving her worth through her productivity that she had no idea how to simply just be. When I asked her what did she do just for herself, she just looked at me blankly. She was like, you mean like a hobby? I don't have time for hobbies. But here's what Yasmin didn't realize. The research on flow states absolutely confirms that when you neglect the basics, when you don't practice proper self-care, proper nutrition, you actually become less productive, not more. Your brain cannot access those deeper states of focus and creativity when you're running on fumes. Right? So one thing we did that helped Yasmin was she created her own happiness calendar. She scheduled small specific tasks in her week that made her feel good, and she did something every day. So whether it was a quiet coffee before work, she booked Pilates twice a week, she had a regular massage, because you know what humans need? Safe therapeutic touch, and massage is one of the best ways that you can get that. So she did things that were not productivity disguised as self-care, but actual self-care. And the thing is, as her relationship with herself improved, everything else improved. Her relationship with her husband got so much better. Her relationship with her kids got better. She had more time for them. She had more time with them. Despite taking more time for herself, she had more time. She started sleeping better. She started eating better, exercising more. Here's the strategy. Create your own little happiness calendar. Add at least one thing daily that brings you joy or peace or a sense of connection, or ideally all 3. Whether it's scheduling a nap, sitting down for lunch with a friend just for fun, watching an episode on Netflix, doing a yoga nidra, which is my personal favorite. Each person's happiness calendar is obviously going to be unique, because what brings you joy is not going to be the same as what brings me joy or anyone else joy, and that is completely fine. It's highly individual. But whatever it is, when that voice says, I don't have time, remember this. Making time for yourself actually creates more time. When you're not running on that treadmill of overthinking and productivity and stress, you manage your time better. your productivity actually increases. So in a way, this could be disguised as self-care, which is ending up in productivity. But the thing is, you have to remember that self-care is not selfish. In actual fact, it's selfish to not practice self-care. You are like a battery. When your battery's flat, it's useless to everyone. But when you are fully charged, you can light up the room. You can light up the world. Let me know in the comments, when was the last time you did something purely for fun? Purely because it brought you joy. I hope you did. Cost number 2, you don't know who you are when you're not doing stuff. Many high performers have been praised for their productivity since childhood. You know, you were the responsible one, the reliable one, the clever one, the smart one. And these labels, the responsible one, these labels become part of your identity, and you start believing that being busy means being worthy. So you push through even when you're exhausted. You take on more and more. You say yes, even when you know that you're fully booked up and you actually cannot handle it. You stay late, you skip meals, you skip breaks. You just ignore that voice inside you that knows that you need to slow down. Not because you love the grind, but because somewhere deep down, there's actually an attachment strategy at work. Constantly producing becomes a way for you to ensure that you won't be abandoned or criticized and love and approval to be withdrawn, because it's how you learned to get love and approval from your family when you were a child. Think about the messages that you got when you were growing up. My client, let's call her Jordan, came from a wealthy but hardworking family where the only acceptable behavior was hard work. If she got 90% in a test, she would be asked, well, what did you get wrong? Like, why didn't you get 100%? And she learned from this message that love for her was conditional on her behavior, on her achievements. Lying around reading a book or playing video games was not acceptable in her house. So the thing is now, if you grew up like this, when you try to rest, your internal monologue sounds like this. I should do this. I should do that. I must do this. I must do that. What about this? What about that? The to-do list just goes off on replay in your head. Don't forget this. Don't forget that. Your mind is like, it's like a restless ongoing cycle that won't allow you to relax. And when you do try and do something for yourself, you just feel guilty. Like, you'll say things to yourself like, how can I spend money on myself when people are suffering in my home country? Taking care of myself is so selfish. I should be spending my time with my children. I shouldn't be getting this massage. Take my client Amar, not his real name, who was a brilliant leader in a fast-paced business of his own. He had that feeling that every minute had to be productive. When he had a free hour, he wouldn't dream of using it for himself. He was always looking for something productive to do. You know, he was always working. And as we worked together in therapy, we uncovered the core belief that was driving his behavior. It was that he needs to always be working. He was thinking things like, I'm not allowed to take a break because taking a break is lazy. And those were the messages from his critical parents who loved him, but whose love, the way they expressed their love was tied to his performance. But here's what attachment theory tells us. Real security comes from knowing that you are worthy without performing. When you have to constantly produce or achieve in order to feel valuable, you are actually reinforcing the very insecurity that you're trying to solve or to fix. The shift is only going to happen when you change your self-talk and when you take different action. Instead of saying, okay, I have a free hour and I need to quickly put in extra prep for that meeting tomorrow, you can say, I have an extra hour. What would I like to do? How about I go for a little walk? Listen to the birds in the park, or get a quick neck and shoulder massage at that place like just around the corner, or make myself a cup of coffee and do a 20-minute yoga nidra. You know what? You will feel completely revitalized for the rest of the day. Every time you take an action that aligns with I'm good enough as I am, I deserve rest, I deserve self-care, you are actually voting, you're putting in a vote towards your new identity, towards changing your perception of yourself. And here's a practical tool. Set an alarm for your breaks. And then when your alarm goes off, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You stop. Because you know what? You need your breaks. And if you like, you can tell yourself that you need your breaks in order to be more productive, in order to give more to others, because you know what? It is true. The breaks and self-care that you give yourself is actually what makes you even more valuable to yourself and to the world. This is what lets your light shine brightly. If this resonates with you, or if you're prepared to give this a try, please drop me a comment below. Okay, cost number 3. Your relationships are paying the price. Productivity can become a wall between you and the people that you love. You working late to provide for your family, but when you're home, you can't be present for your family because you are distracted, you are tense, you're exhausted because you're overwhelmed. Maybe you cancel plans, you check your phone during dinner. You're physically present, but emotionally, you're always in your head. Remember my client Yasmin. Before she changed, she would say things like, I work so hard to provide for my family so my family can have a good life. But when I'm with them, I can't stop thinking about work. When I finally get home, I'm just so exhausted. I do not have energy to play with my kids. I'm snappy with my kids. My husband gets on my nerves. And when she went on holiday, she would always take her laptop with her. She'd always be on her phone. And the thing is, she was always on, right? She was always distracted. And she knew it. She said, I feel like I'm stretched so thin. Her partner felt resentful. But then she would say, but it makes me feel like he doesn't even appreciate me. No one is actually recognizing how hard I'm working, what I'm doing for this family. He's always having a go at me. And he's making demands on me because I'm not present. And that makes me feel guilty and ashamed. But at the same time, I just feel so resentful because I'm working so hard and I'm doing it for all of you, well, them, and it isn't even being acknowledged. These are the kind of things that create real distance and resentment in your relationships. The people that you love start to feel like strangers, or they start to feel like part of the problem. When Yasmin started creating protected time in her schedule, everything shifted. Her children, she felt so much more closer to her children, more connected to them. Her husband felt like he was important to her. And for the first time in years, she felt like she wasn't just the provider in the family. She felt important to them. So here's your strategy. Give yourself permission to switch off your phone. Give yourself permission to put a do not disturb sign on your life. I know that many of you are extremely important in the work that you do. Maybe you're running your own business. Maybe you're a very senior executive. So you cannot completely disconnect, at least not at first. You are absolutely convinced there's a certain amount of on-call that is demanded of you. But when you create better boundaries around your quality time, you will feel a massive sense of freedom and relief. I suggest that you make a list of phrases that you can save on the notes on your phone, so that when someone sends an invitation that you don't want to accept, which you know you cannot accept, you can copy, paste, and edit slightly one of those excuses, instead of trying to think of something when you're already feeling flustered. And make it a rule to never ever say yes immediately. Start saying things like, I'll let you know by the end of the day, or I just have to check with my husband, so I'll let you know tomorrow. If you're brave, you can just try saying no, or no, thank you. You don't have to give a reason for every time you don't do something. No is, in fact, a complete sentence. Schedule your protected time where you switch off, where you put on the keep out sign. Even 30 minutes of complete presence can shift the energy in your relationships so much. Your work can wait, but your people cannot. Your children grow up quickly. And here's the irony that research on flow states shows. Taking care of yourself and protecting the people and your relationships makes you more productive, not less. When you're well nourished, well rested, well cared for, emotionally balanced, you can access those deep states of focus and creativity. You will stop overthinking and rewriting emails and spinning your wheels, which actually wastes your time. You know, what I want you to take away from this is that trying to be perfect may actually be making you more imperfect. Loving yourself and accepting yourself as the imperfect human being that you are, taking care of yourself, allows you to be the very best version of you that you can be. You don't have to abandon your drive and ambition. But if you're always productive and never at peace, if you feel like you're on a treadmill going nowhere, you are heading straight for burnout. And you'll wake up one day realizing that you've built a life that you don't even enjoy. And that is such a pity. It doesn't have to be that way. There's another path, an individual path that works for you, that includes your achievement, yes, but also includes joy and ease and presence and connection. If you'd like to work with me directly, there's a link in the description to connect. And you're also welcome to join my high performance community, and there's a link below as well. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.